Good morning, everyone. Welcome into our studio. I'm going to work a little bit more on my veil painting and talk today about painting with presence or painting for presence, because if you've ever gotten deeply into an artwork where you felt like you were drawn into it, a timelessness can exist. And that is the zone or the place where you can feel really most present with your forms and colors and allow the painting to tell you what it wants to do. So now we may need to graduate down to a smaller size brush with the veil painting, because I'm going to be doing some of the areas that are very tiny. But first I want to connect with the piece and get into a place where I feel calm and ready to paint. And I'm certainly not going to be able to do that if I'm criticizing my picture. I need to look at it and ask myself what I really like about what is happening in there. For example, I really do like the position of this arm holding this orb and that one caressing it from above. I think the overall reflecting movement is the same or similar. So I could say that that is something really positive, working really well for me. Now, in another place, I might have to get more dark with my colors, and that's what I'm going to start doing now. Breathing in, just looking at the picture and beginning with a place where I feel that I might comfortably deepen the color. This is going to be wide here. Again, getting narrow at the bottom of this orb. And I just have a small movement. And then when I want it to be wider, I press with the brush and lift for the narrow. Okay, let's move on and do a little bit of the red. Where do I see the red could be accentuated? We already said that there's a beautiful movement here in this sweep. Which will be arm and even hand. But there's some smaller areas of red that come across the face, for example, under the neck. And let's go over here to this darkness. One question that's frequently asked is, how dark should I make my veils? And should they become progressively darker and darker? And of course, by virtue of the fact that you are layering color on top of the paint, it's going to naturally get darker and darker. But the question is, how deep should you go right away? Now, you can see on this plate, I have pigment from the black watercolor. And if I were to use pure pigment like that right on the painting, it might jar the look, and it would require that everything else come up to speed to that depth. So what I recommend is going lightly and increasing your veils one step at a time, not getting too dark right away. Just catch that. But using the color gradually to sort of feel your way forward to what the form is going to be, how the end will be, and so on. And it'll change. It'll constantly change. And that's good, because This is a becoming, not a finished product. You have to let each veil appear in a way that seems natural to the fabric of the painting underneath it, that which has come before, and respecting the color spaces as you go. But they can change and they should vary. Otherwise, the picture will look one-sided. And you can see that areas of light, that is white, can easily be swallowed up. So I suggest that you come back again and again to a white pigment if you must, or if you're really good, you'll be able to leave spaces that you know you don't want color. Maybe eventually you'll add in some, light green to it. Oops. I'll just pick that up. No problem. Dry the brush, wick up that watercolor. It's not going to harm. But anyway, the point is you might want to bring some color into that space. You'll find out as the picture progresses. Now, I hope you've watched this all the way through, because maybe you had a chance to experience that feeling of timelessness while I was painting on my picture. So please join me next Friday.